Take one psychopathic serial killer, add one unstoppable alien life force, and what do you got? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're exploring the comic book origins of Carnage.
Kasady is gone. There is only Carnage!
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Carnage is a villain that even the wisecracking webhead doesn't mess around with, and it's easy to see why. He's way stronger than Spider-Man, can shapeshift his whole body or parts of his body into deadly weapons, and relishes maiming, torturing, and killing. To be technical, the name Carnage refers to an alien symbiotic life form, the offspring of the Venom symbiote. But a symbiote needs a host, and for Carnage, most of the time that host has been the deranged serial killer Cletus Kasady. So in general, when we refer to Carnage, we mean the combination of the two. Down through the years, a little bit more has been revealed about Kasady's past. During one sequence in which the symbiote was attached to both Kasady and a doctor named Denise Nieves, readers learned that as a boy, he killed his mother's dog because he was jealous of it, and confirmed he did indeed burn down his school, killing all inside it. And in a later situation in which he was linked with another young woman, readers saw how his grandmother abused him, until he pushed her down a staircase to her death. They also learned that his father beat him and accidentally killed his mother, who may have been the one person who treated Kasady kindly. How did this unlikely, or at least unholy duo get together? On the surface, it's a pretty simple story of boy meets symbiote. You see, Kasady was sharing a prison cell with none other than Eddie Brock, who, with another alien symbiote, had been the villainous Venom. Venom hated Spider-Man, largely because the symbiote had first bonded with the web-slinger, who gave him an unceremonious brush-off. Kasady and Brock didn't really get along, as Brock felt superior to the soulless serial killer who'd been convicted of killing 11 innocent people. Just as Kasady felt he'd had enough of Brock's high and mighty attitude, the Venom symbiote found its way into the cell and reclaimed his host. As the newly reunited villain left the cell, it left behind a little black ooze, which landed on Kasady's hand. Before long, Kasady was acting even stranger than usual, holding intense conversations with himself. When a guard got too nosy, he suffered a gruesome fate, and Kasady escaped. And before long, a red-suited, merciless killer going by the name of Carnage was brutally murdering people at random. When Spider-Man started investigating, he was worried this was the work of Venom, except he'd stranded Venom on a deserted island and tricked him into thinking Spider-Man was dead. Spider-Man checked up on Venom's cellmate Kasady, finding out he was even more reprehensible than he thought. He may have been convicted of 11 murders, but it seems he was responsible for many more, starting on his murderous spree when he was still a child. With no other choice, Spider-Man went to enlist the aid of his enemy Venom, who verified that the symbiotes reproduce asexually and that his symbiote had given birth just as he was escaping prison. His son had then bonded with Kasady, whose immorality corrupted the symbiote's natural desire to save innocent creatures, leading to the creation of Carnage. Kasady and the Carnage symbiote were finally separated by Venom, who tore them apart and proceeded to devour his offspring. Kasady took this about as well as you'd expect, painting himself red and going out in search of Venom and Spider-Man. While this seemed to be the end of the Carnage symbiote, some of it survived within Kasady's body, drawing him to the negative zone where he'd find and bond with an identical symbiote to become Carnage again. Other characters have donned the Carnage symbiote over the years, including Dr. Carl Malice to create the Superior Carnage, Peter Parker's clone Ben Reilly to create Spider Carnage, and more recently with Norman Osborn to create Red Goblin. But sooner or later, the Carnage symbiote always returns to Kasady. A villain as outrageous as Carnage naturally has been introduced in other media, although generally in a somewhat less violent manner. Still, even in animated form, Carnage packs a wallop that makes his appearances very memorable indeed. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.